Well, hey, my name is Gabby Hartzell. I am the director and founder of the Well Women's Ministry in southeastern Kentucky at the Creek Church. And I just wanted to come on here and just give you all some basics of starting a women's ministry. If that's something that God has put on your heart and is really entrusting to you, we learned a lot along the way as far as starting our women's ministry. And so I just wanted to come and share some tips and some things that I advise leaders all the time to do when they are first starting out. Just some really important things to lay the groundwork for what God is going to do in your area and through your ministry. So when we started the well, we started talking about it in 2015, and that is when we started laying the groundwork, which is what I'm going to show you all coming up. And then we didn't actually execute our plan until 2016. But these are things that you can do regardless of where you're at or what budget you may or may not have. For the well, when we started out, we did not have a budget. I think we maybe had $500 that we were given, and it just grew from there. But we have found a lot of things that have worked and have not worked. And this is not there are some things that may look different for you depending on where you're at, but there are some stuff here in just the basics that everyone can do, regardless of what area you may be in. So I just wanted to share some of these with you as you're starting out and starting that women's ministry. So the very first thing that we would advise anyone to do is a vision statement. You cannot lead other people somewhere if you don't know where it is that you're going. And so, if God has entrusted you with a ministry, a women's ministry, then it is our due diligence to write down and be very clear about our vision. So, what is it that you want to see happen through your ministry, through the ministry that God has entrusted to you? This is the what, this is not the how. So, just to be clear on that, everyone, there is a lot of talk of, what a vision statement is versus what a mission statement is. So, just to be clear for us, our vision statement, this is the what, not the how. This is what we want to see happen through the ministry. This is not how we're going to do that. So, just a tip is to keep it short and sweet. You want it to be something that is memorable, that your team can remember and repeat. Remember and repeat. So, if it's too lengthy and too wordy, no one will be able to remember that. And I guarantee you yourself will not be able to remember that because I have tried and it just does not work out. So, for the well, just a sample vision statement for you all to see. You don't have to take this one, but just so you have an idea of where to start. Our vision statement is to be a community of women who lead the next generation to become fully devoted followers of Jesus. We try to keep it pretty short, pretty simple, pretty sweet. Just a clear vision of what we want to see through this ministry. So just figure that out, whatever it may be for you. If you don't know where to start with a vision statement, the very first thing I would say is to pray. Pray, and then pray some more. So he will give you those ideas if he has entrusted this to you. He's going to help you along the way, but just pray about that and just really get clear and really short and simple on what your vision is, what his vision is for this ministry that he's given you. After you have a clear vision statement, a clear what, then you need to come up with your mission statement. After you decide where you want to go, you then need to be clear on how you're going to get there. This is the how for the what. So just another tip is to use action words that resonate with you and your team to define your how. So action words keep it really simple. We can extract our action words and use just those to describe our mission statement and what it is that we're going to do to achieve the how behind the what. So again, a sample mission statement. This is from the well, and you don't have to use this one specifically, but just to give you an idea. Our mission statement is that we will engage with the next generation of women, equip them to passionately pursue Jesus and his purpose for their lives, and empower them to lead where they are. This is the how behind our vision of being a community of women who lead the next generation to be fully devoted followers of Jesus. This is how we're going to do that. We're going to do that by engaging with the next generation of women. We're going to do that by equipping them to passionately pursue Jesus and his purpose for their lives. And we're going to do that by empowering them to lead where they are. So that is just a sample. But as I said, you can extract those words. Now, alliteration is not a requirement. It's just something that I personally love. So I do it quite often, probably too often, according to some of my team members. But it just helps me to remember what our mission statement is. So, whatever those action words are, just see if you can extract them. And that way it makes it a little bit easier to remember. But for us, we could just simply say that as the well, our mission is to engage, equip, and empower. And then we can expand on that. But it just makes it a little bit more memorable. And that's what we want, repeatable and easy to remember. But after you are clear on your vision of what it is that you're doing and your mission of how you're going to do that, then you need to find your team. And for leaders, this can be a challenge, or at least it was for me, because I thought I could do everything. And I'm here to tell you that no one person can do all things. Collaboration cultivates creativity. And creativity is something that we want and that we need in our ministries. We serve a creative God. He is the creator. He loves to create with us and through us. And so, in order to create well and to breed a culture of creativity, collaboration is what we need. And in order to do that, we have to have a team to collaborate with. So, collaboration cultivates creativity. We have to have that team. In order to lead well, you will need to create a team you can lead who will in turn lead others. So, this team that you're going to create and find, these are the people who you, as the leader, will lead and serve. And then your team will lead and serve those in your ministry. So, this is such a key thing. You have to find your team. Now, I know that can be a challenge, so I want to go through just a few tips when you start your search for your team. Because finding the right team members, it can be difficult. And occasionally, you will need to replace a few along the way, and that is okay. So just breathe for a minute. It's okay if you have to replace a few. It doesn't mean necessarily that you've done something wrong or that they've done something wrong. It's just natural and a part of life. So, especially with women, every season is different for women and their availability is different. So, if you have to replace a few along the way, it's okay. But I do have some tips for you to follow as you begin your search for your team members. So while you're searching, and there is a typo, I apologize. While you're searching, the first thing is to pray and follow his lead. Pray and follow. He will lead if we will listen. He will lead if we will listen. So just pray about who those right people are for your team and your ministry and follow his lead. But just find those who are like minded and who are passionate about the vision and mission. Your team, this is your leadership team. They will be leading those in your ministry. And no one's going to be more passionate than the leaders. So you need to find people who are passionate about the vision and mission of this ministry that God has entrusted to you. The next tip I would tell you is to keep it small. Too many cooks in the kitchen is never helpful. And so keep it small, 4 to 6 people, depending on your ministry's needs and your ministry's size. For us at the Well, we have 7 on our team now, and I'll go through those just really quickly, just so you have an idea. We have 3 different campuses at our church, at the Creek Church. So we have 7 different people on our team. We started out with maybe 4 or 5 of us, and we have grown a little bit as the needs have grown. So we do have 3 of those people are campus leaders. They are finding group leaders, which I'll talk to you about in a minute, for their particular campus. They help execute, outreach opportunities. They're the ones who set it up and execute those at their campuses. So those three people are so crucial to what we do as a ministry. So we do have three of those are campus directors. We also have one who is she oversees our events, and I'll talk about that again in just a minute. But she is our event coordinator. So we do events each year, and she is the one who really heads those up to execute the design of those events. And then we have two people who are simply advisory roles. Those might phase out eventually, and I've made that clear to everyone. And that's another thing is to just be clear with your team, be upfront with your team. But two of them do serve as advisory roles. Women's ministries can sometimes become social clubs, and we do not want that. And these two women are basically our police on if we're starting to get too icky, too social, and not about the Father's business. So they really keep me on my toes and our whole ministry to just make sure that we are leading, um, you know, not a social club, but a women's ministry. So they really help advise on those things. And then the last one that we have, other than myself, who is the leader of the ship, kind of. The last role that we have is a social media director, and that is brand new. So we did just have 6 of us. That is one that's been added because there's just so much, and I just could not do the social media anymore. It was just something that I had stopped doing. So we found someone to be the social media director for the well. So those are the 7 positions that we have. Those have changed and have just been molded into different things throughout the years. So just being flexible is such a key for your team, but just keep it small depending on your size and your need. So 4 to 6 people. After you have found your team, you need to create a plan of action. What is your ministry really going to do, boots on the ground? What is that going to look like year in and year out, month in and month out? Because here's the thing, is the time of the women that you and your ministry will serve, their time is valuable. And we need to recognize that by planning ahead. So plan ahead of time. Create the plan of action for what it is your ministry is going to do. Outline what the year is going to look like for your ministry. So I'll show you just really quickly how we do that. And again, it does vary depending on each ministry and each location and each budget. And but we created a plan of action when we first started, and then it has kind of morphed into something else. We've tweaked it along the way. So just again, being open and flexible is key to this plan of action. But go ahead and create a plan of action. So decide how the ministry will live the mission. Again, a tip is to just keep it simple and keep it very specific. For us, this is our plan of action that you can see below. And what we decided to do in order to live out the mission of engaging, equipping, and empowering, we decided that events is our sweet spot. We love doing events. We do these typically 3 events a year. Sometimes we'll do 4, but 3 events a year is our usual, it's our average, in order to gather together, to teach the women truth, and to inspire transformation. So this is just such a sweet time together. I'll do another training on event planning and what that looks like for us. But we do 3 events a year, 3 big events a year. And then the next thing for our plan of action is discipleship. We believe this is where we're going to equip women to passionately pursue Jesus and his purpose for them. So discipleship is key for our ministry. We do this by having short-term group studies twice a year, and we also offer one-on-one mentoring. And this coming up year, that will occur from August to April. We did this last year. We're going to do it again in 2020. The mentoring. So, and I'll do again another training on the mentoring process and how we do that and just ways to start it and pairing people. But discipleship is a key to how we live out our mission. So again, we have 2 short-term studies a year. Those usually last 6 to 8 weeks. This one that we're in now is 5 weeks long because we're coming up against a holiday. but typically it's 6 to 8 weeks. We do those twice a year, usually after an event. And then we also, again, offer mentoring, one on one mentoring that will occur from August to April. The last thing that we do, the way that we really empower women to lead where they are, is through outreach. We believe that this will spur women to be the hands and feet of Jesus by serving and creating a large outreach opportunity twice a year. So we really want to make sure that the women are leading and serving where they are, give them opportunities, that we want it to be balanced with truth and discipleship, and also actually going out and doing. So we do this twice a year. We always do one event in the spring called Prom Prep, and I'll do another training on that if you're interested in learning more about that and how we do that. But Prom Prep has been one of the best ways that we have gotten into our community, partnered with organizations, and really just came face to face with the next generation of women in our communities. This has been such a huge impact for such a low budget. So I'll do another training on that. But Prom Prep is one way that we do outreach. And then in the fall, we'll usually do something, it just kind of depends on the year. Sometimes we'll use our short term groups and they will do something for Christmas for women in the community. Another time we have done a whole 1 day event in the fall called Love in Action, where we actually went out and served women in the community as a whole. So we try to give women opportunities twice a year to do outreach. So that is our plan of action. And again, it may look different for you. We have done things differently throughout the years. So it started out different and has kind of morphed into, we've tweaked it along the way into what it is now. So it's okay. Just keep it open, keep it flexible, but go ahead and decide on a plan of action, but be okay when it might need to change or tweak a little bit. But this is our plan of action that we use for the well every single year. We know that we're going to do these things. Once you have your plan of action, create a social media account, pick a date, and then go. It's go time. Get the word out. We can plan all day long, but at some point, it's time to go. So once you have your vision and mission statement, and you find your team, and you all decide on a plan of action that you feel like God is leading you all to do with your ministry, it is go time. Because there are souls on the other side of this waiting for you all, waiting to be reached, and God wants to use you all and your ministry to reach them. So at the end of the day, go ahead, have your plan of action in place, be open, be flexible, but go. So we are so excited for you all. This is, again, just the basics of starting. This is just the groundwork. There are so many more details that we can go into, and I would love to talk with each of you about your particular ministries and what God wants to do through it, and just coach you on, finding your team and the events. And I'll go through some trainings on some of those specifics. But if you have any questions, please reach out to us. If you have any thoughts on ways of doing it differently, we would love to hear those, because we are always learning and wanting to make things better. And even if it is something that wouldn't work in one person's area, we can still learn from it. So just let us know that. But we are praying for you all and your ministries, and that God would use you to reach the masses of women out there for His glory.